Well, hello there, everyone. Here, sure, right here is a little brother careers, and basically this picture right here is actually what I would look like, whenever I was very young, and I'm talking about, not just young, but on the other hand, that I was like, 8 months old, something like that. I was just a baby, during this time, and almost a year old. I would probably say I'm like, yeah, maybe about 2 years old. I would just say, about 8 months, something about, 2 years old, something like that. But anyway, but knowing about, have right here is like an activity I went and put together right here using some of my childhood photos. And I was also thinking about right here, as you see right here, as I went and put together right here using Photoshop. It's like a little, work of what you call it, the way I mounted this picture right here. And thinking about, for anybody that, uses Photoshop skills is to, do a certain type of a work to where if you want to add like a certain type of border. And I was also thinking about including the American flag and about right in here too, because I know around my birthday and thinking about as to where that like with anybody that I kept thinking about if I want to, draw, if I wanted to paint some stars or something like that, like American flag, where I would have like a little blankie, like a little blanket that would be wrapped up with, like a look like an American flag. But on your hand too, if anybody wants to where that, yeah, that the American flag is not just what you call something that represents, maybe say our nation, for the, for America, for the country, but then on your hand that I keep thinking about is to where that it also represents is like for around the time of my birthday, because I know my birthday's in July. I'm sure most of us can remember, from other postings, but you see right here is that if anybody warns to her that something like this, that you're like warned to her that is this something that maybe that's posted on your Facebook page or anywhere? I'm like, well, that's something I'm still working on, even though pictures I may still have around that I have not worked all of them, but of course I've been busy in class too. But this activity right here basically talks about, for little brother careers. And for like a little brother, I'm sure that most of us knows like for family members, especially if it's going to be like siblings or cousins or best friends or so, that they're thinking about as to where that there's going to be somebody that's going to be, have a major. One of those majors could be maybe for mechanics or maybe for any other type of jobs related nursing, or if it's going to be carpentry or plumbing type of work, or maybe a designer or so, maybe architect or other sorts of careers. And you're like Warren to where that if we're going to have like maybe a little brother or little cousin, little sister or somebody, and you're like Warren to where that with this little brother that they are what you call majoring in something that maybe that quite a few people maybe in a friends and family group as to where anybody in the family that they may not know about or knowing about really. I'm like, well, did they really make all that much money? Yada yada yada. But on the other hand, that you see right here is like this work right here, and the way I was working this, I was also thinking about as to where it kind of looks like maybe like a display right here for like a baby food, but this right here will be my one of my original looks whenever I was a baby. I know I have a few other examples too, which whenever I was going through some of the pictures I have saved on my computer is that I'm like, well, a few of those pictures that I know that maybe some people here on my YouTube site have not seen yet. So that I am sure that anybody like say that the number, if you want to go ahead and like about maybe 5 or so video postings I update, and then more likely you may be able to see those. Other than that, I might just decide to go ahead and maybe put them up on my Behance page as well. But I can also be found on LinkedIn. But anyway, but you see right here is that with this picture right here, and then not no painting. I'm like, I did like a border right here for a painting, but you see right here's this picture right here, and then I can go ahead and go to like which says like this see the picture right here, but for like little brother, and then you have right here is like I'm sure most of us can see, from what we know from what we know and then what we don't know, and basically talks to you for the answers. And so I'm sure that most of us can remember me posting that, talking about from what we do know and what we don't know. But on the other hand, that I'm sure that my creativity can go on for, like, if I only have about maybe 5 or 10 pictures altogether, and I counted them, I would probably say, including the ones with me in there, I probably say that I can maybe locate about maybe 22 pictures. And out of those 22, I may have only used about maybe 8 pictures that I may have showed everybody, and that for like, yeah, this time is for what I can remember. So if anybody wants to where that this right here talks about, like, for education purposes as well as from what we do know and what we don't know. But on the other hand, that anybody that may want to where, hey, you ought to go ahead and do a sequel to, to that, do a part 2 for one of these, and like to know more about what else I'd like to talk about those stories. But this right here, that from, I'm sure that later on in the summertime, I would probably say that around July, sometime around there, I might be doing a like a another, it's like a two or three part 2 and 3 of for what we do know and what we don't know, and and about for information I like to speak about. But then these 2 pictures right here is what I went and found right here. And thinking about right here, like for little brother careers. And then you have right here's another example right here of me right here. So let's just say this was right here was me right here, if I were to be surprised. So this right here would be my name right here. But say for digital design. But like Warren, to where that let's just say that if I was one of the only members of the family, or it's like other friends, that more likely that I may know, that may say that you may be one of the only ones who you are going to be majoring in, like for like any type of artistic, graphic, or digital designing diploma. And so going, for like attending any kind of classes that you're like Warren, to anything that you're majoring in. And let's just say that anybody that could be going to school, maybe to do studying marketing, or if it was anything related to science, study of science or something like that, or if it was anything about maybe other sources of studies. And with these sources of studies, that more likely anybody that may want to where that you may have heard that before, to where that people may want you to maybe look into the majors that pay the more, the most income, the most money, that make the most money, as well as your uncle or your friend of yours, or maybe the cousins, or maybe somebody else that or in the family that has their degree in maybe social working, or maybe be an auto mechanic, and so they want you to go ahead and go to school to be an auto mechanic. So I guess we may have heard that before, to where whatever that makes you happy, as long as you're happy, we're happy. You pick whatever you want to be. It's like if it's going to be an artist, or astronomer, or if it's going to be a person who studies into science, machines, engineering, or any type of majoring field. And we weren't to where that, like with me though, ever since my childhood, I can more likely remember is to where picking up what you have right here is my hands right here. If this was right here was me, from the original picture, I would have been at what you call, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it leaning up against the coffee table, but I would have been what you call putting my hands right here, right up on the coffee table, and when I would get just to be able to take a picture. And if I can remember right, that I must have been only about maybe 4 years old in this picture. So anybody that may want to, or that, if I want to use this example right here for like anything such as maybe I talked about before about direct loan or anything like that. But let's just say that I do look pretty surprised in this picture right here. And I was also thinking about as to where that if this was right here was maybe my my fourth grade picture or like a family picture though. But let's just say on average to where that you have right here is this right here is a picture up here of me and then compared to this picture right here. And then I know that we weren't to where that the hair look just looks, you have like that brownish and then you have right here's my graduation photo. So just think about looking at all these all these years from the past 22 years or so, and thinking about for anybody who has or does not have what you call a college fund arranged, it's like getting their experience with student loans or some kind. But let's just say on average to where the situation goes by is to where for like little brother, and I know that most of us here have a member of the family who is what you call considered one of the youngest. That this person may be about 2.5 years younger than the other person is, or that compared to the oldest compared to the youngest. So let's just say that if I was like what you call one the little boy of the family, and thinking about is to where that other friends that may say about if you're going to have a little brother, you're like Warren, to where the things that may think about is to where that they're your little brother. I'm like, well, they may be what you call you want to what you call treat them like what you say a little brother, but then on your hand too, there may be some situations to where you want to feel like that you want to have a little bit more than what they have, such as to where we may have all learned that before, to where we gotta share our belongings and our toys. We may have to share our toys at times, and we may have to share a few things that we worked hard for. But let's just say that on average, to where whenever it comes to careers go, is to where I keep thinking though, is to where that really, like anybody that may warrant, to where that what do we have to say to the friends and family, even that the ones we connect on Facebook, what do we have to say to them, such as to where that somebody that may want to try to talk you into get into another career, one of those majors could be is to where like a nursing, or maybe into like maybe interior design. So thinking about is to where the little brother, he wanted to be into art, such as digital and web designing, but then maybe the little cousin, the cousin who may be about 8 months, just a few months older than you are, that may talk to you about interior designing, or that hey, you ought to become a lawyer, or maybe a dentist or a doctor. Like that, knowing about how much money that you'll be making for doctors. So I know that, like with anybody, that anything creative, we may think that it's like what you call not so very much educational. So thinking about is to where one of those reasons could be is to where that maybe not all companies are going to pay a designer for what you call imagining for like for being in like say in their this is your world, how you want to pronounce it, to where that if you want to use like what you call like a masterpiece, you want to use one of your photos right here, one of your childhood photos, and then you want to go ahead and I was also thinking about titling this right here for like the little brother ID. This was like maybe a birth certificate ID to use, and I'm sure anybody that may want, or if you want to check me out on Behance, I may have something kind of like this to where that any type of a work of art where I use this picture right here as like a example right here of Matt, Matthew, before you started kindergarten, that this is what you look like, and you're like Warren, to where that for whatever reason it's starting to kind of remind me of what you call maybe one of those Lucky Charms, the cereal boxes, or anybody say one of your favorite flavors off of a Lucky Charm cereal box. But on your hand too, Al, I'm sure most of us can remember one of our favorite cereals, and you're like Warren, to where my little brother, he would wake up every morning and get himself some breakfast. He would get himself some breakfast, but then he would pour himself a bowl of cereal, and then almost every morning that he would have what you call the similar ones between Lucky Charms and Frosted Flakes or any other of those types of cereals. And you're like Warren, to where between a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or other source of lunch or anything like that. So I'm sure anybody probably say, yeah, your little brother. There's going to be, you would say that so far memories to her about the little brother. And I know that another reason why I'm doing this activity right here is also talking about is to where with that little brother that could have a degree, for his future that they are working on a degree that maybe nobody else really that they may think as to where that hey that nobody really has seen the work or maybe has ever heard of the work. So I keep thinking though is to where that for any type of degree that a little brother could maybe work on, such as to where that for like design work, if it's going to be digital designing or graphic designing or other sorts of a degree in designing. And some of us that may think as to where that knowing about the types of jobs that more likely are available out there. And you're like Warren to where that, yeah, I'm like talking about a lot of money for like, direct loans is paying us like with, for student loans. But let's just say on average to where that with the little brother, little brother that he could be what you call one of the youngest of the family, and as well as for he's always had his passion for art. So you have right here is me right here. I've always had my passion for art, and I know I was into carpentry at one time, but for whatever reason I kept thinking about it. I was in the carpentry for about a year, but then yeah, I could probably say that I've always been into art. It seems like art has been what you call my passion, since I was about 2 or 3 years old. So these right here would be some examples right here of this right here would be example right here whenever I was about 4 or 5. This one right here will be example of when I was about maybe 1 or 2 years old. And I keep thinking though that maybe 8 months, but I'm thinking about maybe 1 or 2 years old, something like that. That's how old I was in this picture right here. And thinking about as to where that I always used to always think as to where that whatever that came to my mind that I want to use it, such as to where that there was a lot of things that I had to learn, especially maybe learn how to walk, and then knowing about that for other sorts of and I'm sure getting the ideas maybe for being creative. Like you had I had a Lincoln Log set, and I don't know. I think I may have had maybe 1 or 2 Lego sets, but I tell you one thing that a lot of things that I did that like to play with and look at is a lot of those were like say the drawing pads. So I think some of it may came from whenever I started preschool. Whenever I started preschool, that it just seems like to where I want to pick up a drawing pen and just do something creative, and it seems like that hobby has been what you call it my careers since then. So it just seems like to where between like say the American flag, the colors of the American flag, and I guess you could say one of my favorite colors is blue, maybe due to the fact because it's on the American flag. And I know around that time, around the 4th of July is whenever my birthday came. So it just seems like to where that's what you call from part of the story, which I know I can maybe go on other stories about the reason why that, for what I do know and what I don't know about all this other stuff about is to where that, whenever people read your story that they may, point out as to where that they may mention about that you mentioned about maybe getting a driver's license and going off, making truck driving deliveries or something like that. And I know I talked about being a truck driver too, and I also talked about, being an airplane, being a pilot, and I'm sure that like any kid, I like to playing around with those. I like the remote control cars and planes and helicopters. So anybody that may want to, or how come that your careers never was interested in what you call maybe the Air Force or maybe being a fighter pilot. And I know that being a pilot, I think is pretty interesting too. It's like, but I'm sure anybody will likely say that I guess there are what you call some good advantages and bad advantages about that. But let's just say on average tour for like graphic design as well as for like digital designing and web designing. So this right here will be some Photoshop work that I went and put together right here. So anybody that may want or that anything that you want to put together, using some of your childhood memories, and you're like warrant or that the things that more likely that you see about these childhood memories, and you're like one to one of the ones the titles that you want to use. That if you were the youngest was like little brother, and you're like one to where that the show of say of love some kind is to where whenever people maybe giving you a hard time just a little bit about as to where hey you are my little brother. You're little. You are my cousin. You're my little cousin. You are my little brother. And I respect you for that. Just for being my little brother, and you have something that maybe that a few of 4 or 5 other family members that may not have either. They may have not heard of it, and more likely they say that they are pretty proud of that. They respect you for that. Just because that yeah that for being a little brother that don't necessarily mean for being a little brother or a little sister or a little cousin or so being one of the youngest, being the baby, that may not mean either to where that you have very little compared to everybody else. So the way I think about those is to where that like for like a little somebody who's going to be the youngest, and I use little brother right here because I know a few pictures right here are like of me right here. So like thinking about is to where that's something to think about, that anybody that may want to where that any job, career, any major that we set our minds up to, such as music, like a musical band, and like with anybody that may want to where that you're going to have your passion set for that you want to play the drums or the guitar in a musical band. You want to go to the concerts. You want to perform in the concerts. But then somebody may want to talk you out of doing that. They want to talk you into building homes and repairing cars, and maybe being a crane operator or a helicopter pilot, or maybe playing a certain sport, other sorts of what we call dream jobs. So you're like Warren Tour about little brother, that the little brother is going to be what you call that they're going to be working for a company that's going to be making deliveries, some kind, the postal service or some kind. And you're like Warren to where you have siblings. Siblings, they're more likely going to say is to where that do they respect that person for that? As to where that, yeah, you are my little brother. I respect you for being the little brother, and you'll respect them for being the older brother or the older sister. So I'm sure that most of us who do have siblings and understanding about as to where that you're going to have a sibling to where that they want to treat us to where that whenever they're the oldest, they think that they deserve what you call a fair share of the amount, and as well as for who has what, but and as well as for any type of majors that they set their minds for, and anything that they dream about, especially. So when we think about this right here, and thinking about as to where that this right here, like anybody that may want to where you see your little brother's name or your little sister or cousin's name may be listed on, say, for graduation, and thinking about as to where anything that more I could be surprised about. And this right here will be like a look that I have on my face right here, is to where that if I was pretty surprised about something, and I don't know what I was surprised about, but on the other hand, one thing I do know is to where that that picture right there would have been what you call is like whatever I was thinking about. It's like, hey, do I want to get in the picture, or is like just thinking about or is it just something to where that that you just want to. And I know that sometimes the look that we may have on our face is to where, yeah, that this picture would have been taken, I would say, about back in '86 and 1987. So just thinking about as to where the look I have on my face right here, and you're like Warren to where, yeah, you got the big brother right there, but then you got the little brother right here. So you're like Warren to where the little brother. Does the little brother basically mean is to where that they had to get down on their knees and and then thinking about as to where that really that what would you doing, Matthew? well, what were you doing, Matthew? Were you hiding behind the coffee table? Were you hiding behind the table, or well, what were you doing? But on the other hand, really, can I really explain about what I was doing in this picture, other than that using it right here for like this was right here was an example right here of my class photos. So for anything that I wind up graduating for, and if it's going to be for digital designing or for architecture or any other type of designing, and like with anybody that any parents or anybody, any friends and family that may want to where that hey that I'm sure they respect you, they'll love you for that, they'll respect you for that. Hey, you're the younger cousin. We respect that. We respect you for what you what your passion was for, what your major was for, and then for getting a good job, a good paying job as well. So just thinking about us to where that anything that we think about is to where that whenever we're going to be what you call one of the only ones who set their mind for a major, that there's maybe not too many members of the family, maybe about one or two of them, that you may meet later on that have their degree set for like what you call they graduated recently with their degree in like what you call for like a marketing, or if it's a you know for social working, or if it's designing or carpentry work, and you're like Warren to where that nobody else has that type of degree. So thinking about is to where that something that more likely that the youngest one has, somebody has something that somebody else has, especially with me though, is to where that I may be what you call one of the only ones, one of the little brothers, one of the little cousins who more likely will be graduating with my what you call like art degree, and if it's going to be in digital designing or web designing or some sort. But on your hand, that you see right here is my high school graduation picture, and like Warren to where graduate, and then by the time I go off to college, especially, and like with anybody that may think about is to where they're like, yeah, your little brother is going to college. He's in college, and you hear that almost a lot of times as to where people are proud of you, just for going to college, just for working on your degree, for like for designing, for your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, or it could be like say the bi-master's degree. And like anybody that may want to, or especially to where that another meaning for bi-master's degree could that be what's called for the best years, best years master. So you're like Warren to where the best year's master, like for the bi-master's degree, and thinking about is to where that yeah, you have a total of about 12 years of completed for the high school diploma, and as well as maybe by the year 2019 or 20 that you're going to maybe have about maybe 6 or 7 years total of completed courses, and thinking about is to where yeah, well that little brother is not little anymore. He's got a lot. So he's all grown up, but on average to where that the purpose of the story, I guess what I can maybe say is to where that anything that anybody that may want to talk about is to where that you're going to be maybe what you call one of the youngest, and then that you're going to be what you call one of the only ones who is going to college, or the way that you learn how to do this, and in the way that you train yourself how to for what you discovered, and as well as for what you want to invent. And I just really think though that really I'm like for like any type of degree for the United States of America, and you're like Warren to where that for what we do know and what we don't know is to where that any type of answers for what we want to speak about, such as is to where that yeah that we may not know exactly about everything, but then on your hand too is that whenever I look at some of these pictures right here, and thinking about as to where they were collected, and not, maybe not all of them are what you call class photos, but some of them that I know of are what you call that the ones that I want to use, especially if we're going to be talking about the student loans, because I know that a lot of students that whenever they grow up, that they may think about going out with their friends, but then other than thinking about having to take care of their student loans and responsibilities as well. And one of those would be is to where that you know, is to understanding about the planning wise is to where the plan could be is to where that knowing about what's going on and then for what any ideas for what's the plan about trying to take care of managing the matters. So, but anyway, these right here, I'm sure most of us have seen from what we do know, what we don't know. Yeah, from the previous postings, and then you have right here is like my picture right here is like for what I would look surprised with, and then have right here is like for little brother careers, and like have right here is me when my original hair look especially. So whenever we think about this, for like little brother, and I use little brother by the way, and if anybody were wanted to wear, hey, you ought to go ahead and do what you call a little cousin or little best friend or something like that, or that maybe the son or daughter of what you call any other group members of the family, and I'm sure anybody that may want to or talk about for our kids' education, the grandkids especially, anybody, any cousins, and you're like Warren to where that you did one for little brother, and then I can go ahead and do one for maybe little mascot. There's gonna be like a little are you gonna be doing one for little mascot? So I'm like. Little mascot. I'm like, well, little mascot sounds pretty cute actually, which I don't know. Maybe later on in the weekend or so, maybe around July, if I'm going to be doing one about little mascot. But as of right now, it's going to be for little brother careers. So just thinking about as to where anybody that wanted to wear your little mascot, and I'm like, well, what's the little mascot going to be about? And I'm sure anybody probably say, well, I'm sure that's up to the person managing the video as well. But anyway, some of my Photoshop work right here. Yeah, right here's the graduation photo right here, and as well as me right here for what we know and from what we don't know. And then you have right here, and then talk about right here is like for what you call for little brother careers, knowing about for anything, say for what makes us happy, for anything that we set our mind for is like for the goals and achievements. But other than that, like really, do people are gonna love you, just for what you call for who you are, for what you set your mind for. That you want to be you want to be an artist, you want to be a doctor, hey, that's something about it's like with the siblings and as well as the cousins. I'm sure that they say that hey, that's something that more likely I'm sure to be proud of, and I'm sure anybody that may ask as to where that if that's what you call the exclamation to where that you may have learned some of these skills, quite a few of these skills, maybe on for like a hobby. Your little brother that may have spent a lot of time in his room, maybe working with different colors and crayons just to be able to draw something, and he may have learned that from his own time, and thinking about it to where your little brother has something that maybe that really nobody else really had had discovered. So think about that with the type of talents that maybe that we all have, and we weren't, or what do we call that? About talents that we were pretty much born with. So you earned that talent since you were about maybe 5 months old, close to a year old. Like one of those talents could be is to where you put together a puzzle. You solved the puzzle. You solved a number of math problems within a matter of seconds. Whenever you were only about 7 years old. So just thinking about as to where a lot of those goals and achievements that we think about as to where like for little brother careers. It's like really do people love you for that? But really really just thinking about as to where that for how much we showed our love for each other. But other than that, little brother careers, Humanity 25, and thanks for watching and have a great day.